Okay, it's launch day and we're on the trail. Thanks for coming along with me. You really lighten my load. Speaking of my load, I came in at just under 18 pounds for my base load. But today, as I'm hiking out, I'm carrying 4.1 liters of water. Most people have been carrying 5 to 7, but I drank a lot of water before I started. And I have a day's worth of food with me. Putting that all together, the whole pack, my FSO, which is full skin outweight, is coming in a little over 30 pounds, probably around 33 pounds at the moment. But hopefully that'll get lighter as I hike and the day goes on. Rose is hiking out with me for this first section. Turn to smile, Rose. She's gonna take a mile and then head on back. Hi, okay, so hopefully this will be a short list, but rookie mistake number 1. Rose and I staged out of Lake Moreno, which is real close, and it's kind of like leaving a town. So to get to the trailhead, I'm thinking, this is like leaving a town. And one of the cool things about leaving towns is you can take your lunch that day that can be heavier than what you'd normally pack in your backpack. That was my plan. I've got my lunch. It's all made. It's in the cooler, in the van. Yeah, it's pretty exciting at the trailhead. So we pulled out. I forgot to check the note in my pocket that I put there, even to make sure that even if I forgot, I'd look at the note and remember to bring my lunch. But hey, yeah, it's in the van. Okay, 1%. 1% of the way to Canada, but we still got a ways to go. Okay, I just have to mention this. I'm a San Diego native, and I've hiked a lot in these back hills. You know, sometimes we see flowers, but this trip, this class of 2018, starting on May 1st, there are flowers all over the place. I hope the hikers that have never been here before are appreciating that fact. Well, I should probably jump in here and give you a little update. We're about 11 and a half miles in. So far, so good. As you can see, right at the moment, we're walking through a lot of chaparral. Pretty easy, but the climb to get here was pretty good. Steeper than I expected. I knew this trail was graded for horses, and most of the time it'd be really easy for horses, but every once in a while there's a spot where I'm thinking if I was on a horse, I'd be stepping off here for a moment to take a few steps. Beyond that, flowers. Up until this point, there have been flowers all the way along. Quite impressive, especially for a person that lives here in San Diego who normally hikes trails like these but doesn't see these kind of flowers. Oh, a note. Remember back when I crossed the railroad and I made that comment about, hey, 1%? Yeah, had a moment to think about that. Try 1/10 of 1%. You just got to do that 1,000 more times to make it to the Canadian border. Okay, you ready for rookie mistake number 2? Number 2 is on my trekking poles. Once again, at the trailhead, I'd left the rubber feet on them to protect things while my backpack was in the car so the trekking poles wouldn't hurt anything. It was my intent when I got to the trailhead to take those off. After all, they're great for protecting the trail from places that need it, but this trail doesn't really need that kind of protection. But the problem was I forgot. So, you know, I got my tips. This is how I wanted them, but I'm carrying probably an extra 20 grams I don't need to be carrying. Anyway, rookie mistake number 2. This is the view across Hauser Creek to the side that I came down earlier. It doesn't look like very much, and it's really not, but it's really steep. And so far on this trail, that has been by far the hardest section for me. Mostly because with each step, my knees would tell me they really don't like going downhill. They'd much rather go uphill. Good morning and welcome to day 2. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's raining. And yesterday it sprinkled a little bit, but not that much. But I think this is an important sign of a good omen for me. It's gotten to be a tradition, well, if you can count the second time a tradition, that whenever I start a big adventure, that it rains. We're in San Diego. It doesn't rain that often. It's rare. And it's not normally raining right now, but it's raining today. It was really hot here last week, raining today. Going to be warm again in a couple days, but as I start the adventure, it's raining. That's the same thing that happened to us when we left on the Baja Haha in 2013 to head south on our sailboat. Beautiful weather before, beautiful weather after, but the days that we're leaving to go out, it's raining. So I'm taking this as a good omen, but as you can imagine, I'm not in a rush to get out of bed this morning. And since I only have a short little hop to get over to Lake Morena, which will be my next stop, there's no reason to get up too early. I'm sure that this is from Kevin, Maria, or Pierre. They're just ahead of me on the trail, and I think they recognize everybody needs to have a great day. Very cool. Well, let's wrap up day 2. As you can tell, Rose is here with me again, so obviously I made it to Lake Morena. No issues, got here fairly early this morning. 9:30, 10 o'clock?
It was early,
9:30
to 10, yeah.
There we went off and had a malt and a burger over at the malt shop. That was good. And as you can see, it's still a little gray, a little cloudy, a little drizzly. But I think we're done for day 2. Tomorrow morning I'll get up and head off towards Mount Laguna. That'll all happen then. Glad to have you along. Fair winds. Day 3. What a difference a day makes. Gray, cloudy, rainy for the last 2 days. But today, crystal clear blue skies. Sun's about to come up. About to get headed out. Hey, I'm about 2.5 miles out of Lake Morena, stopping on this hillside here. I think this might be the last time I've got a really good view of Morena Valley for you. You can see the dam off in the distance there. I'm about to continue on the trek up to Mount Laguna. Expect to go halfway today, halfway the next day. But just thought I'd take one last shot of this valley, which is very typical of this area of Southern California that you're hiking on the PCT when you're out here. You may recall earlier that I mentioned that there's a few places on the trail where I think I would step off my horse if I was riding one and walk it. Yeah, this is the trail, and the trail's awesome. I'm not complaining at all, but I'm just thinking if I was on a horse right here, yeah, this would be a place to stop and walk it. Okay, I'm taking a picture of this bridge, not because this bridge has any particular significance, but it seems to me like everybody who hikes the PCT and blogs about it, they take a picture of this bridge. Maybe it's because it's the first bridge we actually walk under, but we don't walk into that many bridges, and we're not really out here to do bridges, so I can't explain it. But anyway, I now have my obligatory picture of the bridge. Today, we eat lunch in style. This pizza here has been sitting in my backpack on the outside, mostly in the sun. It's actually kind of warm. So I'm having hot pizza for lunch today. That is not normal backpacking food, but it can be normal when you're hiking out. Well, day 3 is coming to a close here pretty soon. Probably be about 16 miles when I stop, about half a mile from here. Still plenty of daylight left, but it's been a good long day. Made some good progress. But I wanted to see, it's been chaparral, chaparral, chaparral. Pretty much everywhere you look. Plenty of chaparral. Good morning, day 4. It's a little before sunrise, plenty crisp, but I'm up and moving. Last night didn't turn out like I thought it was going to. I planned on stopping around mile 16, but that campsite was occupied by a young couple who looked like kind of like they'd like to have it for themselves, so I didn't join them even though there was room for another tent there. That meant I walked on further, up to where I could get some more water. And again, found a campsite, plenty of room around it. And so as people walked by, I suggested they should join me. And I invited one guy and he said, yeah, that sounded like a good idea. So he went and got some water and came back. But within 20 minutes, I had 5 other hikers with me in that one site. There was room, it was fine. But I was trying to be courteous to people, be nice and quiet. I just realized how many of the little things we do in our tents and our sleeping bags that make noise throughout the night. Just moving around. A lot of this ultralight gear is very noisy. So you feel kind of bad because you're making noise, but at the same time they're making noise too, so just part of the experience. Just thought I'd share with you. Okay, it's time for rookie mistakes again. Rookie mistake number 3. This one's a big one, and this one I'm going to adjust a lot to real quick. Too much food. I'm really surprised, but I even went through my pack really carefully at Moreno Lake to get rid of some of the food because I knew it was too much food. Still too much food. I need to remember things like, hey, you know, if you're going to be hiking all day long, but you're stopping at the end of the day at a place that's got food, you don't need to pack dinner that night. Duh. And then snacks. I'm eating a lot of snacks, but I have a lot of snacks. So less food. That's rookie mistake number 3. And oh, by the way, it's pretty common. A lot of the people I've talked to on trail, they've made the same rookie error. Today has been a day of rapid transitions. We started off in the chaparral. We then climbed through some beautiful pine forests. And now we're starting to get our first glimpses of the desert. Here we are out in the middle of the forest, walking along on the PCT. And what do we come across? Just what every hiker needs. A drinking fountain. This is on the top of Mount Laguna. When I was a kid, we used to refer to this as God's golf ball, all teed up and ready to go. I'm going to be wrapping up day 4 here pretty quick. Day 4 has been a pretty easy day, mostly because day 3 ended up being a little more than I expected it to be. It's also been a day of lots of transitions, like I mentioned earlier. Chaparral, pine trees, the desert view. Right now I'm walking through the lagunas. As you can see, beautiful meadow, some nice trees, sunshine, great temperature. It doesn't get much better than this, folks. I gotta tell you, this is a San Diego County Chamber of Commerce day, and the hiking is really nice. I'll spend a couple of days here, well actually the rest of today and all day tomorrow with Rose at the Mount Laguna campground. And then I'll start making my way into the desert while she heads back to San Diego. So, I'll catch up with you at the start of day 5 of the trek. In the meantime, have yourselves a great day. Good morning. It's day number 6. I'm hiking out of Mount Laguna. I've given myself 4 days to get to Warner Hot Springs. It's about 60 miles, so 4 days is plenty. I'll have to average 15 miles a day. What's interesting is that's about 30 miles of walking down and then 30 miles of walking up. Mostly, not totally, but mostly. But it should go pretty well in that I've started off with enough water to get there, but my pack, starting out today, my pack is pretty heavy. I'm carrying that 4 days worth of food and enough water to get me to the next water stops and have a little extra, not too much extra, but just a little extra in case whatever water source I plan to get to hasn't got any water when I get there. We're in the desert portion, so as you can imagine, water is pretty important. But it is a beautiful morning. Let me give you just a little look around. This is where I'm coming from. And you might notice there's an old road down there, clearly not in use anymore. But this is where I'm headed. And right now I gotta tell you, I'm already sweating up a storm. And it's just a little after 8 in the morning. So I'm thinking it's gonna get pretty hot as the day wears on. I'm expecting highs around the 90s. Besides the umbrella, I have another new piece of gear I'll be using today. Something I never expected to use, something I've never used before in my life, as you might imagine. It's quite a shock to me that I'm using it, but I'm actually really glad to have it. To back up a little, on that 0 day, I may have told you, my knee was hurting a little bit, especially after coming down Hauser. That was pretty steep, a lot of pain there. But my knee was hurting, and I told the ship surgeon from R&R Kedger about it. And she, being the resourceful person that she is, reached into her medical box and pulled out something I never would have packed. So I'm actually, my load's a little heavier right now because I'm hauling along with something I hadn't anticipated having. But let me show that to you. Rose, being always prepared, happened to have with her, wow, this knee brace amongst her medical supplies. So I've taken full advantage of it, and I got to tell you, I'm shocked. The pain pretty much subsided immediately, and right now I'm experimenting using it on this long distance downhill. I can tell you already, I'm pretty sure it's going to make my life a lot easier. So yet again, I owe a big thanks to the support crew I've got working for me here. Thank you, Rose. I do appreciate it. Much less pain so far. And only 14 miles to go till and only 29 miles more to go till I get down to the bottom here and we make a full assessment about how this knee brace has worked. But again, never used one before. It's working great. If you know you're gonna have a knee problem, I highly recommend it. Well, day 6 is drawing to a close. It's early, probably about the time most of you would be thinking about sitting down to dinner. But for me, it's the end of the day. I got in 17 miles today. It was plenty hot and breezy. Lots of chaparral, a lot more chaparral than I expected. Made another rookie mistake today. I'm gonna pay for it tomorrow. That rookie mistake was last water source was at 59.2 miles. And I need to get to 77 miles to the next water source. I thought it was 70. That's a problem, in that that's 7 miles short on water. You don't want to be short on water out here at the desert. But I think I'll make it to Scissors Crossing. I've got about 13 miles to go now, and I've got 2¼ liters of water. That'd be enough to do 8 miles pretty easily. Another 6, not so good. So what I'll do is I'll get up very early tomorrow morning, which is why I'm going to call it an early night tonight, and try to walk when it's very cool. Today, I had enough water because I grabbed some extra at that last water source. However, 2 things happened. One, my bladder leaked. The cap wasn't tight enough, and I was compressing it in the bag, so it pushed some of the water out that I'd gotten as extra. And then it was a lot windier and very dry. So I actually drank more water than I normally do in this section today. But hopefully tomorrow morning, by getting up early enough and getting on the trail, I can reduce my water consumption and make it to 13 miles. And hopefully there'll be a cache at that location. If not, I got to hitchhike either into Julian or out to Stagecoach, which is a resort out there, to get water. 3 hikers just walked by about 50 feet on the trail. They're on the trail, but about 50 feet from where my tent is set up. And right as they did, they spotted a rattlesnake. They also said this was the 3rd rattlesnake they've spotted today. I haven't seen any yet. I saw my first horned toad today, and I saw my first kangaroo rat today, much higher than I expected to see him. But no rattlesnakes, and I've been looking. But apparently there's one just right over there. Good morning. Welcome to day number 7 of hiking the PCT. Up before dawn this morning, running low on water, so I want to make it to Scissors Crossing before I actually run out. Had a hiker hike through about 10 o'clock last night. Another one went through about 20 minutes before I got up this morning. I don't know who else went through during the night, but people are taking advantage of this cool temperature to hike out here in the desert. Even though for San Diego conditions, it's pretty cool out here. I'll bet it's about 70 degrees right now. Might get to a high of 90 here in the desert today. That is not bad, but if you're not used to it, you're not used to it. Anyway, that's it for now. I'll talk to you later down the trail. Making our way down the trail early this morning, 7:15. Sun is out, as you can see. It's plenty bright, it's still comfortable. I'll feel pretty bad for people that are walking through here later, because this will be well lit and plenty hot. I found out who that hiker was that came through my camp last night at 10 o'clock. Turns out it was Hillbilly. You may recall, or maybe not, maybe I haven't told you. We met Hillbilly back at Lake Moreno along with his friend John, who was helping him get started here on the PCT. John's been acting like a trail angel, saved me with a liter of water yesterday up at Pioneer Campground or Pioneer Trailhead, where there was a water tap but no water. And then I ran into him again at the Sunrise Trailhead, where I didn't need water there, but it was good to see him and check in. Apparently, that was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon maybe. Apparently, his good buddy, Hillbilly, caught up with him there at about, I don't know, 5 o'clock, I guess. He was with him till 8. John gave him some vitamin B. John had offered me some vitamin B too, but I'm, you know, big fan of water right at the moment. Big fan of water. Anyway, gave him enough vitamin B that Hillbilly thought he'd make it all the way to the bridge at Scissors Crossing last night. But anyway, I ran into him earlier this morning. He stopped about midnight after having gotten lost a little bit. Night hiking's really cool because it's cool, but you do run the risk of missing a turn in the trail if you're not really paying attention. So if you do it, when I recommend you probably do, make sure you know where you're going and check your map frequently. It's easy to miss. I almost missed the trailhead this morning. I was walking up a road and I'd stopped to catch my breath, and I looked over my shoulder, and there's where I saw the sign that said PCT, take a left. And I completely missed that sign, and it had been night. There's no way I'd have seen it. I'd have been miles off my course before I'd have realized I was lost if I hadn't been like checking maps and doing other things. We're getting down to the valley floor. I think that right down there at the bottom is as low an elevation as I'm going to be at for quite some time. But we got plenty of sun coming now. So beautiful. That was a very nice, unexpected surprise. Someone had put a small water cache, about I'm going to say about 20 gallons altogether, here at the crossing of Rodriguez Road and the PCT. And really nice because I needed water. I would have picked up just 3/4 of a liter, and I think that's enough to get me to the bridge. Good morning, day number 8. Sun is just coming up. We're just about ready to hit the trail. Everything's packed up and ready to go. Looking forward to a good day. I got a couple easy days ahead of me, just probably 15 to 20 miles today and 10 to 5 the day after that. So good days coming. So welcome to day 8. It's gonna be warm. It's gone pretty well so far. I'm gonna do a quick recap on yesterday. Got into the campsite last night and joined by a couple other people, so I didn't get to fill you in on how the day ended. Did a quick little 6-mile hike from the bridge up. It was plenty warm and plenty steep, but puts me way down the trail, way ahead of time. So doing well for meeting Rose at Warner Hot Springs and the end of Section A tomorrow. Tomorrow. Wow, tomorrow. It's going fast. Yesterday was quite a learning experience in the desert. Lessons I've learned before and knew about, but was a little surprised. I kind of knew what my water consumption was, but it was hot, well into the 90s. I heard it was 104 down Anza-Borrego, so we were definitely well into the 90s, and the wind was blowing, and that ended up having me consume a lot more water than I expected to, and that's not good. The last couple miles were pretty tough. I was very lucky though. There was 2 places along the way where there wasn't supposed to be water, and there was. So I was able to refill enough to get me to the next place. Each one of them were stashes that said, please don't use any more than you absolutely need and keep this as a reserve. So I respected that. But it did mean that when I arrived at the bridge yesterday, I was completely dry. And my voice, you can see my voice is still a little bit gone. So recommend whatever you know your normal water is, even if you add a little extra because you know you're going through the desert. I learned to add a little extra more. When I mentioned I'd been lucky with respect to water, I forgot to mention how lucky. One of the water sources that had been reliable for several days there along Sunrise Highway I was able to get there, get enough, what I thought was enough water, but at least a lot of water, and move on down the trail. I learned a few hours later that water source had run dry, and there were people showing up there with no water and no way to get water. Good news was there were other people that were aware, so they brought them some water for a while, but I don't know how long they brought the water, at least until they get the word out that that source was dry. A lot of this desert section looks like this. Rocks, trail, meandering back and forth between the ridges, steadily climbing up towards now third gate water caches, the next destination. Got my second rattlesnake of the day. This one was a little more upset when I came along. He is moving off. Well, I've been making my way down to Barrel Springs, working this trail all the way across this mountain range and back and forth and into those canyons. Gonna make it though. Gonna get there by tonight. Good morning. Welcome to day number 9. Little recap on day number 8. Yesterday, we crossed the 100-mile mark. Ran into a couple of rattlesnakes, but mostly it was a hot day, trying to make good time coming down the trail. Did make it to Barrel Springs. That's quite a hike for me, 18 miles. Knee's been bugging me a little bit, but it feels better this morning. Wait, what is this I see? Some of the rare California happy cows, or also known as the very remote black and white faced buffalo. Anyway, we're on our way to Eagle Rock, and then to Warner Springs. It's been a good day. Met people from all over the world. Lots of Europeans, a few Asians. Internationally, this trail is well represented. In fact, it feels to me like there's as many people, if not more, from outside the United States as there is from inside the United States. The trail's been really hot yesterday, but today we're up at a higher elevation. It should be a nice day for a hike, as long as you watch where you step because of those rare California happy cows. All right, we'll let you know. Once I get up to Warner, I'll be taking a couple days off. Need to go back into town. Fortune Rose is going to meet me there. Hopefully let this knee heal up a little bit. It hasn't stopped me, but if it wasn't for a ship surgeon having that knee brace, yeah, I could see easily getting off trail. There it is, folks. World famous Eagle Rock. Although it doesn't look much like an Eagle Rock from here yet. Also, once again, Mount Palomar with the observatory. We'll get you some better shots of the eagle when we get closer. I guess that today is just a day for world famous things. Well, we've already seen the world famous California happy cows and Mount Laguna with its Hale telescope up there. We're going to go swing by Eagle Rock here shortly. And then later today, since I'm heading into town, I get to see the omnipotent California roadhog. It's amazing. The amazing famous things you get to see while making your way on the Pacific Crest Trail. Well, like I mentioned earlier, it's a day for famous things. Made it to Eagle Rock, as you can see. Or is it a dragon? I'll leave it to you to decide. Section A is coming to a close. We're about 1.5 miles to Warner Springs. Little reflections on Section A. 109.5 miles altogether. Of that, a lot of it's desert, chaparral. Trail is
mostly rocky along the way, although some places were pretty nice smooth trail, but mostly lots of rocks. Gotta watch about tripping. Water is by far your biggest thing you need to plan. There is water, but there's not always water where you think there might be. I got lucky. One of the places had been reporting real good water for some time. I was there, I got water. I learned the people that came 4 hours after me got nothing. That was really bad because it was a long way, like 18 miles to the next possible water source. So, like I say, plan your water well. Other reflections is things I'm gonna look forward to when I get off the mountain here right now. Yeah, a shower. Since there was no water for showers at Mount Laguna, it'll have been basically 10 days since I've had a shower. And during those 10 days, I've done a lot of sweating. Trust me, when I reach the car and jump in, Rose may be jumping out. I think we'll be driving home with all the windows open. Good news, I can say, blisters. I have had no blisters and no issues with them. And trust me, that is not common among a lot of the people out here. A lot of people have had a lot of issues with blisters. A lot of seasoned people have had issues with blisters. I've been wearing Injinji toe socks. I've never worn toe socks before. A little spider there. Never worn toe socks before. The Injinji toe socks are a pain in the butt to do with because you got to keep turning them inside and out like gloves. You got to let them dry out and stuff. Put them on. But you know what? I think I spent a lot less time doing that than what I've seen people doing managing their blisters, and I have no pain from blisters. I saw a guy this morning. He was the last person in camp. I was going slow because I knew I had a short trip. He was going slow because he didn't want to put his shoes on. His feet, he said his knees were okay, but his feet were like they were exploding on fire. So, hey, heads up, folks. I don't know if these toe socks are the reason I didn't have blisters, but I give them a lot of credit. In general, I think doing things to keep your feet dry, stopping during the day, take your shoes off, take your socks off, let your feet dry out all the way. It'll go a long way towards avoiding blisters. And having these socks so that your toes don't rub together, big plus. By the way, the worst blister setup I saw was a guy named Mac Daddy. His blister was the bottom of his foot from about half an inch in on each side all the way down the center, running better than half the length of his foot. It was cracking. It was looking pretty painful. I tell you folks, I'm pretty sure he's off the trail right now trying to recover, but blisters are a bad idea. Do what you can to avoid them. A couple of other observations. Food. I think I mentioned before, but I've been planning on, as of one of my rookie years, burning 3,000 to 6,000 calories. So I bet I got 10 pounds of food in my pack right now. I'll check it when I get home. But I'm coming down the end here. Way too much food. A couple of observations, like tortilla shells. I love them. They're great. Except you better have a lot of water if you want to be eating tortilla shells. Otherwise, you'll find they choke you up. Not good. Second thing, when it's hot, I really don't feel like cooking much. So, boiling water when it's 100 degrees out to eat something hot, that just doesn't make sense. Mornings, I had very little appetite in the morning. More anxious to get up and get moving. So you still need some breakfast. You need the calories, but not as many as I had with me. Dinner, too tired. Dinner, I'd roll into camp. I was just happy to roll into bed. So now that doesn't mean I shouldn't be eating more calories, but I didn't. And my pack could have been 10 pounds lighter this whole trip if I'd have dropped that food. I paid a lot to reduce weight by using lightweight gear. Wow. Cost of that food, pretty heavy. Hey, maybe that's why my knee hurts so much. We'll see. Anyway, next time I'm bringing less food. Like I say, it's real nice now to be walking in this last section amongst the oak trees. A little bit of shade, a lot cooler. Glad to be doing that before heading off the trail. I should be back on the trail on Sunday. That'll be May 12th. We'll get started again. This time we'll be heading up to do section B. As far as section A goes, I'd do it again. Yeah, I might prefer to do it in February, but I might not too. The first couple days out were really cold and wet, so we'll have to see. Anyway, wishing you the best. Well, there you have it, folks. Section A, 109.5 miles, Highway 79 behind me. You'll notice it's a, fire danger's high today. I believe it, hot and dry, and the wind's blowing. Hanging out here, right by the fire department, waiting for my ride. She should be here any minute now. And there comes my ride. Yeah, it's definitely going to take more than just a rinse to get this dirt off.